So I think content is everywhere, and I think that's what companies, organizations need to realize, where everything from anything even as boring as your product display pages, right, or
Yeah.
the copy on your banner ads, all of them actually become ways for a customer to build some allegiance with your brand.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 26th episode of our podcast, Pepper Spotlight. My name is Pawan Rojwani, and in this episode, we're going to speak to Suchita Salwan from LBB, and we're going to talk about how does LBB use content in a very unique manner. If you go on the internet and check out any of the e-commerce platforms or in general different marketplaces, you'll see that the way they use content is very typical mainstream, but how LBB uses different content categories, types, and even how their website is very very unique. They also had partnered recently with Upgrad and Microsoft to bring out some really great conversations and virtual webinars. So that's something we're going to talk about throughout in this conversation. And if you're a small business owner, or if you are an entrepreneur, or even if you're a content creator, this conversation is going to help you understand how to use content in a very unique manner. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Our podcast, Pepper Spotlight, is available on all audio platforms and even on YouTube. This conversation with Suchita was pre recorded over a Zoom call, and you're going to hear to our conversation from here onwards. Thank you so much, Suchita, for giving us your time today, for being on Pepper Spotlight and doing this conversation where we could talk to you and understand how content has been playing differently for the e-commerce bit for India, and also to understand a few bits about the startup ecosystem in India. So thank you so much for being on this conversation today.
Of course, great to be here, man.
Uh, if we, start from the very basic of how LBB had started as a blog first, and then now it has converted into such a massive organization with different offerings and e-commerce content, everything. Do you want to tell us about how that journey has been from a blog to what you guys are today?
For sure. I think, even though the, avatars of LBB may have changed over the past couple of years, I think our mission has more or less been the same, right? So even when I started LBB as a Tumblr page, back when I was working with the BBC, a lot of my reason to even start was, I've been born and brought up in Delhi. I've lived here my whole entire life. And I think irrespective of how much you feel where irrespective of how much you feel your city, there's so much that is yet to be discovered, right? So what I do on the
Yeah.
weekends is I'd go to these really interesting markets that I'd never been to before in my life, and I'd stumble upon all of these great local brands and businesses. So these small stores that had the most stunning jewelry, bags, home decor, beauty and personal care products, this, that, and the other. And I think a lot of where I came from was, there are so many unique businesses and brands that exist in our country. Why don't enough people know that these places exist?
Yeah.
And that's really, where the Tumblr blog journey started, right? So I'd go to places, I'd take pictures, and I'd, post about them on LBB. And LBB was like my weekend funsy project, right? But of course, fast forward to where we are today, we're mobilizing close to about 10,000 unique, independent, local brands and businesses to sell online. Majority
Wow.
of them actually, you only sell through LBB, and their products and their, and these brands, etc., available only on LBB. And of course, we've got this content ecosystem that's very important for a platform like ours, because a lot of what we've learned is, if you're an unestablished brand, right? If as a
Yeah.
customer, I've never heard of you before,
Yeah.
my only way to really build trust. in between customers on one side and brands on the other, because we operate as a marketplace, is
Yeah.
if that trust comes in through signals like content, comes in through signals like
Yeah.
reviews, comes in through signals like showing the product in real life, right? And that's a lot of how our ecosystem has sort of grown. So I think even on day one, our focus was how do we really build an ecosystem for new and emerging brands to grow. And to date, we're doing literally that, except how we're doing it has obviously expanded, as we've understood both the merchants as well as our customers much
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. And I think for all the businesses who are on the platform, I think it's great for them also that they are associating with a brand like LBB and they get that credibility and that wider audience also that they might not get if they're just on, let's say, Instagram or Facebook or something like that.
100%. And I think, I think a lot of what people don't realize is all SMEs are not equal, right?
Yeah.
I think it's become very fashionable to say I am building ABC XYZ platform for small to mid-sized businesses, or I am building the Shopify for India. There's all
Yeah.
this random stuff that's sort of proclaimed by a lot of folks. I think the truth is that even within that 60 million MSME number, the types of businesses are so nuanced. You cannot
Yeah.
you cannot problem solve for all of them the same way, right? There are some
Yeah.
businesses for whom the best problem solution is frankly listing on India Mart. There are others for
Yeah.
whom the best problem solution is listing on Just Dial. For others, who actually have the capability of creating their own content, sure, knock yourself out, go direct to consumer, build up your audience
Yeah.
on Instagram. But I think this number, this swath of merchants is so large. There's actually a unique opportunity to problem solve for different types of merchants, in unique ways that actually go to the root of the problem that a lot of these merchants have.
Yeah.
And I think for us. Our product philosophy or our business philosophy is fairly similar to that of Etsy or that of Airbnb, and we think both of these platforms have done a stupendous job in really
Yeah.
organizing typically disorganized ways of either
Yeah.
brands or travel at Airbnb's
Yeah.
end. But really, using Airbnb and Etsy as that stamp of approval, right? And
Yeah.
that seal of trust almost. So I think even the way we look at our product is very similar to the way either of these two marketplaces do. But
Yeah.
again, like I said, I think the great thing about India is there are just so many people and there are so many brands, and that really gives an opportunity to deep dive into unique problem statements and solve for them in interesting ways.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a bit more about the entrepreneurial side of, how LBB got from that Tumblr blog to what it is today. But I want to ask you one more thing. When you were already having a job and you were running the blog on the side, and that's something that a lot of people today do, right? A lot of creators, they might have a full-time job at an agency, but they are YouTubers on the side or bloggers or let's just say Instagrammers on the side. How did you manage your side hustle, which was a blog back then? Is this what something I would want to know while you were handling your job as well?
I think one, just being very clear that it was a side hustle, and therefore investing time in it accordingly. I think there are enough hours in a day, and there are more than enough hours on the weekend. And fortunately, because I worked for the BBC, they were very, they were pretty chill about, you actually having your weekends to yourself. So it's not like, it's not like my work was compromised at any point, because the time that I spent was essentially my Saturdays and Sundays, right? So I think step number one is just be really clear. Are you working on
Yeah.
this because you want this to go somewhere, or are you working on this because it's a side hustle? It took me time also to want to quit my job to work on LBB full time. It took me about a year and a half. Um,
Mm.
to sort of say, hey, I think we're onto something over here. We could make this big. I think I'm stumbling upon a problem statement which is larger than what I originally envisaged. And I think that's really what it is, right? You just have to be clear internally on, is this something that I want to pursue with a lot of passion and gung ho and discipline and this, that, and the other? Is this a business
Yeah.
opportunity, or is this something that I'm doing just because I'm interested in this? But beyond that, there's really nothing much else to it. And I think once you've got that internal
Yeah.
clarity, choosing where and how you spend time on things is quite easy.
Got it. Got it. We have done in the past like a full episode about side hustles, and we for an hour talked about how people manage different side hustles, and just wanted to know your take about it
I think everyone should
back in
have a
this.
side hustle. I mean, that's my take. I keep telling my team this all the time, which is, really do stuff that keeps your mind going. I think now because of, I don't mean to sound like an old fart about this, but, now because there's just so much content on YouTube and some OTT platform and Instagram and this, that, and the other,
Yeah.
it's become very easy to, be ADD and highly distracted. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes having a side hustle actually gives you that focus on pursuing something, and helps you, develop your attention in many more, unique ways. So
Yeah.
you can call your, I mean, your side hustle could be something you're just generally curious about, you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Every side hustle needn't necessarily lead to economic opportunity.
Yeah.
Most people with side hustles don't really need that extra, 5,000, 6,000 rupees that they could possibly earn in a
Yeah.
month. But I think the great thing about side hustles is it really gives you, the ability to focus on things deeply, which I think is
Yeah.
severely lacking just because of the, decade in which all of us have grown up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just really just gives you fresh perspective, and that fresh perspective might come into your work as well. Otherwise, you're entirely throughout the week or throughout the month just focusing on one kind of or one category of work, so it just becomes a little mundane also in your head, at least for creative folks. That's how maybe this has been my experience. Tell us about how your time management or your schedule is today. Like we got to know when it was like a side hustle for you, but how is it right now? What's your day-to-day schedule like? What are you working on? And just how does the day go for you at LBB now?
So, I mean, I'm generally pretty organized, in the sense, I'm very organized about having free time in a day, and free time for nothing else. You want to be able to have those sporadic conversations with your colleagues, right? I think especially with this work from home situation, that
Yeah.
ability to, pop over to a colleague's desk, tap them on the shoulder and say, hey man, we should try this. A lot that's gone away, right? So
Yeah.
I think the way I organize my, sort of days now, obviously I work with multiple different teams, and because I work on the revenue function of LBB, I am at the mercy of, the brands we work with and the partners we have. And I think obviously, there are some parts of my schedule that are, chock-a-block because of, the role that I'm handling for LBB. I don't necessarily get too much time to do, my own work. But I think for me, the way I sort of plan my week is I'll have 3 to 4 fairly intensive days. And then I make sure I have 2 days where I am generally just available for calls, for
Yeah.
catch ups, for brainstorming sessions, for having those quick 15-minute calls where we just run through the, what did we do this week? What was the outcome of it? How are we tracking
Yeah.
against our quarterly goals? And I think for me, the weekend, really is time for me to catch up on my own work, right?
Yeah.
Which are either, projects that I'm leading. So, for example, we recently launched an accelerator called Basecamp in
Yeah.
partnership with RPSC Capital Ventures. And this really is the first time a commerce discovery platform has said, you know what, we're not going to launch private labels. We're actually going to invest in our own brands and help them grow.
Yeah.
And it really is a first of its kind partnership, right? So, for instance, now that is my project. And usually it's on, your Saturday Sundays, where I end up spending a lot of time on stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I think the way I sort of manage my weeks is, I make sure that I have there's some part of my weeks that I genuinely can't do anything about because of external facing, calls and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But I make sure that I have enough flexibility for at least 2 days of a week, Because I think especially with this, Zoom calls and Hangout calls all the time, you need that spontaneity, right? You need that serendipity of just calling a
Yeah.
colleague, brainstorming, coming up with something interesting, and then testing and trying it out. So that's really how I go about managing my time.
Got it. Got it. I think LBB also has a podcast of their own. So where did the podcast fit into the content strategy for the whole organization?
So, I think there's a big like misconception around what content is, right? People
Yeah.
think content is equal to article, or people think content is equal to, whatever, like a list, right? Content is everything. So, when people say things like content to commerce, I start scratching my head because I'm just like, bro, content is everywhere, right? It's on your product display pages, it's on your banner ads, it's on
Yeah.
your social media, it's on, I mean, content is like, there is no company that can function without content, which I guess is why you do what you do, right? And I think that's why for us, what has always been really important is how do we make sure that that we constantly find a way to continue to be in the consideration set of our customer, because what we've also seen is our customers are evolving and growing themselves over a period of time, right? So
Yeah.
for example, we have our own clubhouse rooms, and we host, and my colleagues host clubhouse rooms on everything from, merchant learnings and merchant tools. So we have a
Yeah.
clubhouse room that's focused on our merchant community. We have a Friday clubhouse room that's focused on just talking about cool brands that my colleagues have discovered
Yeah.
within certain like subtopics and sub themes, right? Last year, we had a podcast called Open House,
Yeah.
which featured some incredible guests, and for us, Open House was actually a great way. I mean, it was again a bit of a personal project where
Yeah.
I genuinely love learning, and I end up having really interesting conversations with all of my like founder friends, right, or people who I know from within the ecosystem. And for me, Open House was a way of not just learning for myself, but also sharing things that I'm learning from these great people with other folks. So that's really where Open House came from. But Open House became a really interesting way for us to engage with our merchant community. Because what we saw was, a lot of emerging and up and coming brands that sell on LBB. For them, they actually want to learn from the likes of Varun and Ghazal of Mama Earth, or Kunal Shah of Cred, or Ruhan from Epigamia, or Kaval from Fireside Ventures. So for us, our podcast became a great like merchant engagement and
Hmm.
upskilling tool, right? We
Yeah.
also worked with, for example, Upgrad on a lot of webinars
Yeah.
under this IP that we created with them called Future Forward. But that, for example, was a way for us to engage with our consumers.
Yeah.
So I think content is everywhere, and I think that's what companies, organizations need to realize, where everything from anything even as boring as your product display pages, right, or
Yeah.
the copy on your banner ads, all of them actually become ways for a customer to build some allegiance with your brand. And
Yeah.
given the space that LBB is in, we need to constantly be looked at as a credible destination to discover and shop brands. So
Yeah.
for us, content becomes, in all of its shapes, sizes, and forms, becomes a way for us to create that credibility. We have 2.5 million followers on social media. Does social media drive a lot of traffic to our platform? I mean, it's like not really, right? But if we are a platform that's meant for millennial customers, we can't not be
Yeah.
where our customers are. So I think our content strategy has been, two things: have a clear objective, right?
Yeah.
Know, are you creating this content for your customers, or are you creating this content for your merchants?
Yeah.
Define ROI not through is article se kitne sales aaye, or is video pe kya CTR tha, but really look at it as a way to create an ecosystem. So for example, on the consumer side, are the content that is created either on our platform or by our in-house creators, it's played a stupendously awesome role in training the LBB customer to come to LBB to discover something new, right?
Yeah.
We have less than 10% return rates. Our AOV is 1,100 rupees why are LBB customers buying from brands that they've never heard of before when there is a H&M, Zara, home center? It's because
Yeah.
our content has trained the customer to look at LBB as a destination to find something new. So
Yeah.
I think content is immensely powerful, but if you genuinely want to unlock its power, you need to stop thinking of it in like these myopic lenses. Or say aap content team ho, hum performance team hai,
Yeah. Yeah.
because content is everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. And I completely agree and resonate with you when you say that, content is not just articles or let's say performance or anything like that. It's literally everything. And even your, what's there on your product descriptions or a video, podcast, whatever, or let's say webinars also. Um, and I want to ask you this question as to how, LBB uses content so differently compared to some other e-commerce platforms or let's say other marketplace organizations also. And I'll also tell you where is this question coming from, because I see that you folks have different city-based pages also, right? LBB Bangalore, LBB Delhi, and different other pages as well. And at the same time, I also see you folks doing these partnerships with Upgrad, where you're doing webinars. There's this podcast series where you are bringing folks from the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and more this is focused towards, let's say, brands. And for somebody like you and in general as a marketplace, it's very, very important to have your users as well as, let's say, your partners, or for you, the brands who are on the platform, and you have to sort of cater and create two different kinds of content, or maybe multiple kinds of content to cater to both the sides, and in general, which is for both of them as well. So how do you really manage that, and what's your just the go-to content strategy process for creating content, and in
Yeah.
general, how to use it?
Yeah, so one, we have a great team. It's not something that I personally end up spending a lot of time on, though, brand marketing is a function that rolls into me, and it's something that I'm generally very particular about because I think it's important, specifically in the context of LBB, for us to even stand out or differentiate against the, 20 other highly funded e-com platforms that exist. So I think for us, a lot of how we think of our content strategy is, and collectively, whether it's our SEO team, our on platform content team, our PDP team, or our social media team, is at the end of the day, any content that you create, it needs to add value, right? It needs to either add value to your consumer, or it needs to add value to your merchant, or it needs to add value to us as a brand, right? And
Yeah.
value creation can be fairly diverse. So for example, SEO content is a great way to drive footfall or traffic towards your website or your app, right?
Yeah.
Social media content is a great way to create pull towards your brand, right? So
Yeah.
for example, for us, our branded searches have grown consistently because this customer, is going on to Google and is searching LBB home decor, because we've again used our social media as a way to tell our customers that, hey, if you're looking for differentiated home decor, come to
Yeah.
LBB, right? So for example, our social media does a lot of that, right? How do you inspire a customer? How do you, how do you create like opportunities for delight for this customer on platforms where this customer already exists? For example, our webinars and our podcasts, etc., they have their own roles. So I think for us, the strategy is fairly simple. It's you have consumers on one side, you have merchants on the other, and then you've got this one pool of content where there is some amount of overlap, right? Merchants are customers too. So the LBB seller, the brand that's selling on LBB, most of our sellers are actually usually the same age as our users, right? So they're in between that 25 to 40-year-old, kind of mark. So for them, at some level, they are our consumers too, right? And vice versa. So for example, with what we did with Upgrad, not only was it a great way for us to engage with our consumer community, but it was actually a great way for our merchant community to learn interesting ways in which they should be upskilling themselves at an individual level, right? Because a lot of these entrepreneurs and brands that sell on LBB, they're very small teams, the teams of in between 4 to 5. So the founder in that team actually has to do 20 things instead of, in potentially my case where I've outsourced the problem to my colleagues
Yeah.
and my teammates. So I think our strategy is, look at these three buckets. Look at your consumers as a bucket. Look at merchants as a bucket. And look at consumers plus merchants as another bucket.
Yeah.
We're very particular where anything that we do, we have a very clear like job to be done, right? So for
Yeah.
consumers, the job to be done is inspiration.
Hmm.
And what we've basically learned is you need to inspire customers wherever they are. Inspiration
Hmm.
doesn't always have to happen on your platform, right? So
Hmm.
just because TikTok makes short videos doesn't mean all of the short videos that I'm creating have to be, for the lack of a better word, like through on our app, right? Like the
Yeah.
experience
Yeah.
needs to be pretty clean for a customer. So, for example, on the consumer side, the job to be done of content is inspire, excite. So a lot of
Yeah.
the content that's either created by us or through our, user generated content piece is the kind of content which should ideally inspire Pawan to want to buy, right?
Yeah.
So for example, we work with a lot of, bloggers, in categories that, we're obviously bullish on. We'll send them our product, we'll ask them to create interesting content with it. And what we've actually seen is, when you take that content, that well produced, contextual commerce kind of content, you
Yeah.
put performance ad money behind it, the ROASes on that are like stupendously awesome, right? So
Yeah.
so that's a lot of how we look at the consumer front, which is don't only treat this through the lens of everything has to be done only for the LBB app or only for the LBB web, but inspire customers no matter where they are, whether they're on Clubhouse or they're on
Yeah.
Pinterest or they're on Instagram or they're on Facebook, keep them excited, right? On the merchant side, a lot of our strategy is how do you help merchants build their brand, right? There's a big
Hmm.
difference in between one of my colleagues. I'll give him a shout out. Manan says this very well. He says, that there's a difference in between launching a brand and building a brand.
Yeah.
A lot of your services and tools help you launch a brand, but they don't necessarily tell you what it takes to build a brand. So on the merchant side, everything that we do is done with the job to be done of help our merchants build their brand, right? So anything
Yeah.
that we do, whether it's our open house sessions, our clubhouse sessions, another colleague of mine, Neha, has done a phenomenal job on our LBB for Business Instagram, where she keeps giving merchants,
Hmm.
tips, tricks, and tools for them to build their brand better, right? So, for example, that is a job to be done on the merchant piece. And then, of course, you've got a confluence of consumers plus merchants, which will end up sort of manifesting itself more so as a community piece for LBB more than anything else. I mean, I have limited time, otherwise I'd, yap on about our content strategy because I think we're actually one of the few companies that flexes content really well, right?
Hmm.
We don't have a very myopic approach to how we look at content. We actually look at, again, ecosystem creations. So
Hmm.
happy to address any other specific questions you have, but I think for any company that's thinking of where content fits into the ecosystem, don't create content just for the sake of it. There's enough crap that's on the internet. You adding more crap to it won't really give you any ROI. But really, very clearly define what's a job to be done, and then create content basis the job to be done. And
Yeah.
also find channels basis the job to be done. Depending on obviously how your business is structured and set.
Yeah. Yeah. So one small question I want to ask you with respect to all of this is, so for content creators, it's usually like, collaborate with other creators and all of those things so that, you can tap into different audiences and things like that. I think for organizations, somewhere or the other way, it's similar to when you partner with other organizations for a particular small project, or let's say the fund that you are creating, and maybe partnership with Upgrad or things of that sort. Where does this partnership scenario fit into your, will you put this under the category of content, or no, you will consider this as separately? Where do
So
you see it
partnerships
as?
vary. So for example, we have this phenomenal partnership with Tinder where we're creating a marketplace called QueerMade on our platform, and it's a marketplace where you can shop from brands that are that are built by folks from the queer community, and that I think hopefully should launch in the next couple of days. But for example, now that partnership is is a combination of two things. It's a brand partnership, and it's I mean, both Tinder and LBB are obviously not making any money off of this. Our whole
Yeah.
goal is to really empower this community. But for us, it's a great way to also remind people that LBB is a destination for something different, right? LBB
Yeah.
is not a destination where you come to for boring commodities. We as an organization don't just acknowledge, we actually want to, be an ally and a partner with all kinds of communities that exist, specifically, folks within the queer community, which is something that's always been very important to both us as well
Yeah.
as Tinder, right? So, for example, our partnership with Tinder will be like a brand plus, merchant empowerment partnership, right? We had this other partnership with Economic Times, where we worked with them on, finding finding and sort of like appointing India's top 30 disruptive brands. Now
Mm.
that again was a brand plus content partnership,
Mm.
and that tied in with the second bucket that I just mentioned, the
Mm.
merchant
Mm.
content bucket that I just mentioned, right?
Mm.
Then there'll be other partnerships like what we've done with Upgrad or what we're doing with Microsoft Teams right now, which will be, so with Microsoft Teams, we're doing, the job to be done is helping brands, helping merchants build their brand. So it
Mm.
falls within that bucket. With Upgrad, it's actually because our customers are millennials, it's important
Yeah.
for us to problem solve for them. See, if I keep coming to Pawan saying t-shirt khareed lo, joote khareed lo, like after point
Yeah.
you just be like, ma'am, aap chale jao yahan se, right?
Yeah.
But if I come to you saying, hey, Pawan, I hear you want to be a creator and you want to have a side hustle. Why don't you listen into the session with Varun Dugirala, where he teaches you how you can, have your cake and eat it too,
Yeah.
through ABC XYZ. I'll continue to keep you in my funnel, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's what makes LBB different from other e-com platforms, where, we actually define ourselves as a high frequency commerce platform instead of, like a low frequency quote unquote content platform. And that
Mm.
high frequency of keeping Pawan wanting to come back to my app, wanting to come back to my web, right? Not getting out of the LBB ecosystem is through
Yeah.
partnerships and associations like this. So I think gone are the days when you can say ki, I am I am a, e-com platform, so I will only stick to my lane and I won't do anything else. I think
Yeah.
now more and more companies have to embrace the fact that customers are spoiled for choice. You're not my only option. If you keep coming to me to sell me your damn product, I'm going to get irritated, right? You
Yeah.
need to keep me engaged. And frankly, the only way to keep customers engaged is actually problem solve for them, within
Yeah.
obviously constraints, right? Like we wouldn't do future forward sessions every day. We also do them
Yeah.
in spurts, twice a year or whatever. So
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of what our approach even to partnerships is, which is keep them within your buckets, have very clear goals, and yeah,
Mm.
take it from there.
Yeah. I think you should host some masterclass on content strategies and all of these things. It's really, really insightful to know all of these things from you. I mean, I've heard some bits and pieces of the conversation that we have had from different sources. But you having all of these packed in your head and delivering this in the conversation is something really, really insightful. Um, it's really great to hear about all of these insights that you have shared about content.
I'm glad, man. I'm happy to be of help.
I have one last question for you, and this comes out from my selfish reasons of asking this question to all great minds, because I want to be explored to different kinds of content or things that are happening globally or even in India. What are some brands or let's say individual creators also that you have stumbled upon on the internet and you find their content or their communication strategy really, really outstanding? Any one, two, three, five, whatever number of brands that you want to mention.
I can go on about this because I consume like a crazy person, right? And my colleagues get very irritated because I will read an article and then I just be like, guys, wow, 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 here are the 5 things I learned. What did you learn from this? And they're just like, chup ho jao mate, like let us first finish the 20 things that you've already told us to do before we jump the gun to the next. But I'll pick up a few, right? I think New York Times has done an absolutely phenomenal job of becoming a digital first business, which I don't think enough people especially younger folks, realize how tough their pivot would have been, right? And I think what makes the New York Times' strategy so interesting is they have started now. Investing in their creators, right? So they've got a
Yeah.
Kara Swisher, they've got a Ben Smith, right? They've picked up these like heavyweights. They've got an Ezra Klein, and now they're actually using that same creator to create a suite of content. So I don't know
Yeah.
if you or your listeners read the New York Times, but for example, Kara Swisher has her own podcast which is powered by New York Times, right?
Hmm.
New York Times also has dedicated newsletters based on specific categories
Yes.
that
Yeah.
customers can be interested in, and those newsletters are curated by specific editors who have some sort of like knowledge about that beat. So
Yeah.
I think the New York Times has actually done a stupendous job of really tapping into the creator economy and taking their
Hmm.
creators, but really milking their creators in new and unique ways, and not just restricting. If you're a journalist, your job at NYT isn't only restricted to writing an article. It's
Yeah.
creating a podcast, it's making newsletters, it's attending conferences, and really working with NYT on helping their brand grow, right? So I think
Yeah.
they've done like a crack job of making this happen for themselves. I think beauty brands, I think any founder, whether you're running a boring CSaaS company or you are a fintech startup or whatever the hell you are, I think every founder or brand marketer should learn from beauty companies, because they are always beauty companies and luxury companies. I have never bought an Hermes anything in my whole entire life. मेरी औकात ना थी, ना होगी, ना है. But the way they work on their product launches, their brand launches,
Yeah.
that they not only survived COVID but grew through COVID,
Yeah.
is just absolutely amazing. And even with luxury brands like Hermes, there's this really interesting article that I actually shared on my Instagram/Twitter a couple of weeks ago, which spoke about how Hermes has perfected the art of the drop, right? Like all consumer brands, like Supreme, etc., talk about drops, but like Hermes has been there, done that, and they've really and actually, what's interesting is they don't call themselves a luxury brand; they call themselves a brand of collectibles. And again, given that NFT phenomenon that's taking over the internet, they're kind of at like the right place at the right time, right? So I think luxury brands, beauty brands, there's brands like Glossier, there's brands like Kylie Skin, there's brands like Milk Makeup. All of them are crack at user generated content. I think if you really want to learn how to do good
Yeah.
UGC, follow a beauty brand, dig into their user generated content
Yeah.
strategy, and take it from there. I think these are a few off the top of my head, but I really think there is stuff to learn from everyone. I
Yeah.
think closer to home, I am glad brands like Cred have made creating content for engagement mainstream.
Yeah.
I think it's been, irrespective of whatever anyone's take may be on that campaign, that they've opened brand marketers' eyes to aisa bhi hota hai, right?
Yeah.
And through
Yeah.
stuff like this, you can still deliver results. I think is commendable. So yeah, those are just a few off the top of my head.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing those. I think I consume these kind of content, but I never really noticed them from that angle. Like I'm subscribed to some of New York Times newsletters and listen to some of their podcasts also, but I've never really noticed as to this phenomena of how they have, converted into the creator economy and tapped into that. Sujita, thank you so much for this conversation. I know this is like a usual, like not like a considered amount and time duration that we do on our episodes, but maybe we'll try to do this in two parts, like two episodes of this conversation, because I don't want to skip any of the parts that we have talked about. But thank you so much for giving us your time today and doing this conversation with us. It was really, really insightful and fun at the same time.
Awesome. No, thanks for having me, man, and all the best. And I hope you recover from COVID super soon.
Yeah, I hope that. But thank you so much once again. Thank you, Suchita.
Anytime, man. Take care. Bye bye.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation. And something that is very prominent in the entire journey of LBB is that it started as a side hustle or a passion project, whatever you want to call it as. From a blog, now they have grown to a massive, massive organization and a massive platform that is helping so many brands and small business owners. it's really worth noticing here that just go ahead, start something that you're really passionate about, and maybe in few years it might turn out to be something as massive as LPP. If you're a content creator or a small business owner or an entrepreneur, I hope this conversation was helpful to you all. If you have any suggestions or recommendations for us, please feel free to put it in the comments on YouTube, or just DM us on Instagram at the rate pepper_content. If you have any recommendations, questions, you want to recommend a few guests that we should invite on the show, please go ahead and just drop us a DM, and we'll be happy to take all your suggestions and recommendations. My name is Pawan Rochwani, and this show releases every episode on Wednesdays, 3 p.m. on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and even on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to it, and we'll see you again next week. But till then, take care, stay safe, and stay indoors.